I have a distinct memory of being so careful during my pregnancies because I thought, okay, I really have to deliver this healthy child. And so both girls were born. They were incredibly healthy, beautiful babies. And I thought, okay, we've scored. And then I think she was about 3 years old, and I was combing her hair. I was putting in pigtails, and I found a bald spot on the back of her head. And we learned that it's a condition called alopecia, which is an autoimmune disorder. We treated the problem, which was just through creams and lotions, and it would grow back in, and we'd move on to the next thing. But then when she turned 12, her hair started coming out significantly.
When my alopecia got bad in middle school, it was very hard because I think middle school is honestly like the worst time where you are just looking to fit in.
But I just could only imagine what it was like to be a teenage girl with all of the pressures and insecurities that go with it, and to have to try to figure that out. And so that was our first indication that she had an overactive immune system.
So 2017, I believe, we were on a cruise. First day at sea was pretty rough. I think we left at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and Lizzie had been battling a cold or a flu or something for a while beforehand. And so she wasn't feeling the greatest, but I didn't really think too much of it because we're on a giant ship and everybody's seasick.
And so the next morning we tried to go to breakfast, and she could barely stand. And it's like, we're going now. We are going to the infirmary.
Lizzie was in a big hospital bed. I remember standing essentially at the foot of the bed. The doctor looked up and basically said, "Ruth, you were right, it is diabetes." And they determined fairly quickly that we needed to get her back to the States. And when she was diagnosed, she was in full-blown ketoacidosis and was in pretty severe condition. And I didn't realize until we were talking to the doctor a little bit later, and the doctor bluntly said, she could die.
I remember just thinking like another thing, because I already had dealt with alopecia almost my whole life from everything that I could remember, and it had been a burden. And my mom had always said that everybody has their one thing that they have to deal with, but I just remember thinking like, no, I already have my one thing. Like, no, like this is not fair.
And my initial reaction was just seeing a tear roll down Lizzie's face.
What was the biggest loss was the loss of her innocence and the loss of being able to just be a kid without worries, and to have a childhood where you didn't have to be thinking about something that was so central to you staying alive.
I was in the kitchen and my mom was in the living room, and I could just hear her crying from the other room, and that just like broke my heart, because I was like, so this is something about me. And I think anybody can attest to this, that like hearing your parents cry is really hard.
And then my mind immediately went to, okay, what does this mean for the rest of her life?
And I think when you have a child, you or at least I, visualize their life kind of in the same arc that I had. I mean, they're born, they go to school, they get a job, and they have a family. And what does this all mean for that?
My sister's amazing. She's such a good friend. She cares about her friends so much and like is so giving. Just genuinely has become such an amazing person. I hope that Lizzie can just continue to live her best life.
I think one of the biggest gifts that we've gotten from JDRF is that it normalizes T1D. It makes it something where you're not the only one. What's really heartening to me is the focus on a cure. And along the way, we are having all of these breakthroughs in technology that just makes the care in the interim so much better.
Can you please help us fund a cure for type 1 diabetes?
Join us virtually on October 3rd for the JDRF Gala.
To help us fund a cure.
No masks required.